Hi, I'm Mindy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my September wrap-up, and I managed to read 10 things in September. One thing that I read is a small chapbook of poetry. I'm trying to read poetry every month, and I've read One Night by Matt Wall. This is a group of 20 poems that Matt wrote all in one night, and I think that is a really interesting experiment, and I'm impressed that he was able to write so many poems in one night. It makes me want to try it, and I really loved the very first poem in this collection. I think it set off the book really well. It was so heartfelt, so sad, so touching, and it was like a dedication to his friend. Yeah, I really love that poem. That was my favorite from the book, and this book was dedicated to him. I also read 2 books for review. I already have full reviews for these up. They'll be linked down below if you want more information. But I read of Starlight and Plague by Beth Hersant, which is a disease outbreak book about a new strain of rabies that is less deadly but more dangerous. And it was created pretty much living zombies that only think about passing on the disease to more people. Very scary. And then Daphne by Josh Malerman, which I also read that for the Halloween-a-thon hosted by Paul. I'll have that link down below. And this was my coming of age book, and it's about a killer that is after the members of a high school basketball team, girls basketball team. It's coming of age, all group of girls, and I really loved this one. It was good. I also read 2 books for Autumn Amour, which is hosted by the Bookish Bryants and a bunch of other great channels. For that, I finished 2 books. The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, which I know Becky from the Bookish Bryants would not like this book, probably, because this is enemies to lovers. And I've heard a lot about her not liking that, but I do. I thought this was a really witty, funny book, and I read it really fast. Like, I was compelled to keep reading because it was just a lot of fun. And that's kind of what I've realized about romance books. Like, they're just fun, and I just really enjoy them so much every once in a while. They make a good book to break up my super dark reading that I usually have. Sometimes you just need a little ray of sunshine. And I also read Last Sacrifice by Richelle Mead, the last book in the Vampire Academy series. This was the last book of my reread through the series, and I just love this series. It's just so much fun, so nostalgic, and I really enjoy this world that Richelle Mead has created. And I'm thinking I will start another reread of the Bloodline series, which is a spin-off from this one, soon, because I just want to. It just makes me happy. And the rest of the books I read as group reads for various book clubs and such. First, I read Black Sun, which is the Between Earth and Sky series, book 1. and that's by Rebecca Roanhorse. And I don't know if I should have maybe read it physically. I listened to the audiobook, and something about the writing style did not click with me. I mean, I didn't hate it. It was pretty good, but a little confusing at times as well. I think maybe I was having trouble keeping track of the story without being able to see it with my eyes. Possibly. I don't think I'll be continuing on. If I was going to continue on, I'd probably have to reread this book. And I finished The Hacienda by Isabel Canas, which I started in June as a book club book, and then finally had time to finish it in September, which is good. I'm glad I finished it. This is a gothic haunted house type story taking place in Mexico, and there is a bit of Mexican history and details put into it, which is something that I thought Mexican Gothic was kind of missing. However, actually reading it, those parts were a little boring. Oh well, it's what I was asking for, and I got it. Yeah, the beginning of this didn't really catch my attention too much, but once it got started with the main creepy gothic house and its weirdness going on, then things got a lot more interesting. There was a bit of a mystery, and yeah, it turned out a lot better than it started. I also listened to The Taking of Jake Livingston, which is a YA horror book that I actually really loved. This is one of the best YA horror books that I've read. This one features an LGBTQ teenage boy as the protagonist, as well as the antagonist. And the main character can see ghosts. He's kind of a medium of sorts. And he starts to be visited by a killer, a school shooter, which is very creepy. Yeah, so trigger warning for school shootings. It is talked about at length and very, very creepy. Very, very scary. Really liked it. Really liked it. I thought it was cute YA elements, but also actually very much horror. And I read Parable of the Sower, which is by Octavia E. Butler. And this one is a dystopian, post-apocalyptic Earth where things have really fallen apart because of environmental reasons, and follows this girl that lives in a walled off area that they have built these walls around their neighborhood to keep other people out to try to stay safe. It's a very dangerous place these days, the future. Very scary. And the girl's father is a pastor, and she starts creating her own religion because she sees some of the problems with her family's religion. And she is kind of on a mission to spread this religion and try to help people of Earth. What is a young teenage girl going to do about this very dire situation going on? Very, very good book. And I definitely want to read on with the series. It's not my favorite series that I have read from this author, but it's so good. It's everything I read from Octavia E. Butler is just amazing. And the last book that I read in September is Within These Walls by Ania Ahlborn, which is a cult book, a bit of a haunted house type cult book too. It's about this house that had a group of people led by an enigmatic leader, and he basically makes it a death cult. Then a true crime writer moves into the house, is going to write about this death cult, and some very strange things start happening. Yeah, really, really good. Again, not my favorite Ania Ahlborn, but really, really, really good. And if you like a cult book, definitely one to check out. So those are the 10 books I read in September. I would love to hear what you thought of any of these books that you might have read, and I'll be back very soon with another book-related video. Thanks.